These new Google Deep Research AI agents are absolutely insane. So, what I'm going to show you today is the new release from Gemini, and this is their deep research model. We're using Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking. So, it's a brand new model that's just come out this week that is free for everyone to access. So, if you want to use deep research agents, I'll show you exactly how to get access, what it means for you, what the differences are, and exactly how it works. Plus, I'll show you some of the samples and how it looks once you've completed one of these research tasks, right? Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is deep research? Well, essentially, this goes way beyond like your typical chat GPT response or your typical response from AI. It's way more powerful than that. And essentially, what you're generating here is something that, typically like a PhD level research assistant would be able to help you with, but you can generate it in minutes and you can get the latest data. So you can pull in the latest data from the web, right? So, for example, it's really good for planning. It also has a feature where it can search the internet so it can get the most relevant, up to date data. It can also reason through the process iteratively, and then finally, it gives you a report once that is done. Now, if you're wondering, okay, how do you get access to it? So you can go over to gemini.google.com, and then in the top left here, you're going to select deep research. And again, this is free. Also, it's available in many different languages, so you don't just have to do this in English. You can do this in any language that you want, and it's super powerful stuff. So what it's great for, here's a few use cases. For example, like it's really good for competitive analysis. So you can look through what's going on in your industry, how things are working, etc. And then from there, this is really powerful for coming up with new products. In fact, when we actually launched the AI Profit Boardroom, which now has like, I think, something like 460 members. We only launched this last month, by the way. And, using the power of deep research, we actually researched the whole landscape, figured out what's working, what's not, who our competitors are, and then how we can put something together that's completely unique. And, once you get that sort of research in, it's like gold, because essentially you can figure out, okay, this is how we penetrate the market. This is how we make our products different. And, that's only going to make you money, right? The more you understand your market, the more you understand your competitors, the better the results you're going to get when you launch a new business or a new product or whatever it is. So pretty powerful stuff. You can also see here it's great for due diligence. So, for example, like investigating sales leads, analyzing the company's products, funding history, team and competitive environments, topic understanding. So, if you want to go really deep and dive into a topic, this is one of the best ways to do it. So, for example, if you want to just know everything that you can about research agents, then you can use a process like Gemini's deep research to actually help you achieve that. And finally, product comparisons. And I'll show you exactly how we did this in a practical way in a second, comparing, all of the agents on the market. So, if you haven't realized already, 2025 is a year of AI agents. ChatGPT began by releasing theirs, then Perplexity. We've also got, for example, Grok 3 actually released a deep research opportunity as well. And then Gemini have now followed suit. In fact, I think Gemini were one of the first ones, but now they've made it completely free. And it's also using Google 2.0 Flash Experimental. So those are the two main updates right there. Now, this is available on desktop and mobile, so you can also search from the app if you want to. It's available in 150 countries, in 45 languages, and also to Google Workspace users. To access, just go to gemini.google.com, and in the top left, you're going to select between which AI agent you want to use. And of course, for this, you would select deep research. Other thing you got to note here as well is like when you're doing this, it's going to take a few minutes to generate. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So this is not like an instantaneous answer, unlike Gemini or Gemini Advanced. So we can compare what the outputs are versus the normal version of it. Right? So really cool right here. And yeah, it's basically just an agent that goes off and searches the web. So, first of all, what it's going to do is break down the problem and try and figure out, okay, what are you looking for? And you can actually edit the plan before you post it. Then it's going to go off and do the research, and then it synthesizes all that research directly for you. So pretty cool stuff. And then, of course, I can only see this being integrated more into like actual Google searches as well, so that people get better results. It's step by step. So if you want to use deep research, go to gemini.google.com, then you can select deep research. And what you can do is you can, for example, okay, let's say, for example, you wake up one morning and you're like, I don't have any sleeves on my t-shirt. How do I get sleeves on my t-shirt? So we're going to research best t-shirts in 2025 with sleeves on and compare the tank top market versus t-shirt market. All right, for those guys at home who don't have sleeves on the t-shirt, and then we're going to hit submit like so, and you can see here how we've got deep research selected. So that's what we're looking for here, right? Now, if you actually compare this versus the normal version of Gemini, let me pull this up. And let's say you're using like just 2.0 Flash without deep research. So you can select it inside there, and you can add a few other things as well. But we'll just go with the normal version of Gemini Flash. So you can see here how quickly and easy it is to get instantaneous results using Gemini Flash, right? But it's not that in depth. And also the content itself, you know, it's more likely to include hallucinations and that sort of thing. Whereas if you, for example, use deep research, like you can see right here, then this is a bit of a game changer because you're basically planning out the research process. It's like a giant prompt, and it's a chain of thought process as well, right? So it's going to start with the research, then it's going to go off and analyze the results, it's going to create the report, and it'll be ready in a few minutes. And you can also edit the plan over here. So we can edit the research plan, and it'll be like, okay, which changes you want to make. So let's say, for example, okay, we want to focus only on t-shirts in the UK. Then it's going to edit the plan. So it's updated the list, made everything UK specific. So for example, let's say you're operating in a certain market or a certain niche and you're doing that research. This is one of the easiest and best ways to do it. And then from there, we can go off and start doing that, right? Now, if we click start research over here, it's going to start working its magic. And you can see the thinking process here. So you can also switch between show thinking and sites browse. So with the sites browse, essentially what you're doing is you're grabbing all the sources that you've got, right? So for example, if we compare this, this is a list of all the sources that have been included. And I think as well, it will update that list as it goes through. And then if we switch to thinking, you can see the thought process behind this. So it's using a reasoning model to generate the outputs. Why would you want a reasoning model to generate the outputs? Because you're only going to get better results, right? If it thinks through the process, it gives you ideas, etc. And so you can see here, it says initial search focus. I'm starting my research by looking into expert opinions, recommendations for the best t-shirts with sleeves in the UK for 2025. Then it's like, right, I'm going to do a market comparison approach. And then after that, identify the criteria that experts use to evaluate t-shirts. This will help me understand what makes a t-shirt the best in the UK market. Gives you a list of the sites that it's actually researching. And you can see here as well, when it's using this research, right, it's not just researching random sites on the internet that you probably wouldn't trust yourself. It's using mostly expert sources, right? So Uniqlo, menshealth.com, amazon.com, independent.co.uk. These are all like some of the biggest brands in the world, right, when it comes to this niche. And so you can see that it's basically selecting the best websites to source from when it comes to its results. Then step by step, you get the reasoning as it goes further. And also if it needs further investigation, it's going to do that, right? So it says, right, to get a more in-depth understanding, I need to delve deeper into the identified articles to understand blah, 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 right? Researches more websites, comes up with more evaluation criteria, and then it will just keep going through. Now, if we go back to that sites browse list, you can see it's much longer than it was previously, right? So previously it was just 14 websites. Now it's already looked through 83 websites, which is absolutely insane, right? And this is doing it all on your behalf. So Gemini is searching the web and browsing content for you on your behalf, and you don't have to do anything. And so this agentic model is really cool because, you know, you can just have this running in the background. You could come back in 30 minutes and the agent has just gone off and researched everything for you. So we'll keep going through now. I'm waiting for this to load. Again, it does take a bit of time. So it might take like 5 or 10 minutes. If you want to see one that I've generated earlier, let me show you an example right here. Where have we got it? We'll check the list on the side, scroll through the recent results. And we've got an example of a report that we generated earlier. The other cool thing about Gemini, of course, is that it also links directly to Google Docs, right? So if we click on export to Google Docs here, it's going to create a Google document based on the research. So it integrates really nicely, which is quite unique. And then we just have to allow. So I'm just going to click on allow and then try that again. And hopefully that should come through. All right, so that's opening up in Google Docs, like you can see. Let's see how long the report is. So it's 5,500 words, right? Bear in mind, like we come back to that response from Gemini earlier. Let's pull that up. So this is Gemini Flash just on its own, not deep research. That the word count of that answer was 392 words, right? The research report that we get back from this assistant is 5,500 words, right? So you can see the depth of research and the way that it just gives you a totally different output versus anything that you want. It's 13 pages long. And also, when you're sending this straight to a Google Doc as well, it's just going to convert really nicely, right? So you can see here, for example, it had like a really nice table, nicely laid out there, compares all the differences, etc. It's got all the sources at the bottom so you can check them. The only thing I would say here is I don't like the way it's using medium.com to source ideas. So let's just open it up. Yeah, so you see here how it's using medium.com to source some of the answers. That's not great because, of course, if it's using Medium, like anyone can post on there. And, even I can post on there. So you don't know how authoritative some of those sources are if it's creating a research report. But that's the only criticism I have of it. I mean, the fact that this is free is absolutely amazing. Bear in mind, when ChatGPT first released their deep research model, that was costing on ChatGPT operator mode, I think it was $200 per month. So that's $2,500 a year. And then also you could only use it 30 times per month, right? Which is one report per month. Whereas with this, you can generate multiple different reports. You don't pay anything. And it's grabbing the latest research data, is super in depth. The other thing that I would say, though, that is a problem is this kind of reads like an academic report. So you get that PhD level analysis, but at the same time, is this accessible for the majority of the internet? Probably not, right? Most people are not going to be able to read the whole thing. It's not going to make much sense to most people, so not going to be that useful. But if you need to generate an academic report, research, if you need to do new product analyses, if you're doing something business related, then this is absolutely perfect. And also what you can do here is you can just, you can grab all the content from the page, go back to Gemini, and then you could go back to Gemini and say, okay, just summarize this into first grade level language, simplify it, make it easier to understand, etc. All right, and then using that process, we can get better results. So yeah, if you look at this, I mean, it is super long-winded. Even for me, it's a struggle. Just to read that on the screen, you probably want to print that out. I don't think you're going to read it from start to finish unless you got an hour to go through it all. This is probably the most useful bit where it takes all that research and just turns it into a nice little table. So it's super easy to understand. But again, you can just copy this. You can go over to Gemini and you just say summarize this into first grade level language, simplify it, make it easy to understand, add some headings plus subheadings. And there you go. And there you go. That's a lot easier to understand. It takes all that research, which is super useful. And then, you get something that's actually actionable from it, right? Or you could give it to the AI and say, listen, just make this super actionable. So we've got the example right here. Sources at the bottom. You can read all the previous thoughts as well. And then if you export it to Google Docs, obviously you can share it with your team, right? So that's super useful. And then if we go to the side chat, can we share this with other people? So we can pin it, but we can't share the actual chat, I don't think, from what I can see. But yeah, if you just export that to Google Docs, then click share in the top right, anyone with the link, hit done, boom shakalaka. You've got your report ready to go. So that's probably one of the best ways to do it, honestly. And then from there, you've got your research and you're good to go on that. So it is way more impressive. Honestly, I think for Gemini, like I don't really use Gemini. I don't even consider it in most of the tests I do. But if I'm comparing all these models, I would say the deep research is by far the most practical feature out of everything. And just to summarize here, so it's free as of March the 13th. Key features, so free access, supported in 45 languages. Is transitioned from Gemini 1.5 Pro to Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking Experimental. So obviously it's an upgrade in terms of the quality as well. And then the output quality is much better as well. And then this seems to be a lot faster than other models. I'll compare them next as well. And then you see some of the use cases, accuracy, and you know how to access it as well. So what I'm actually going to do is I'll plug that report, if you want to see the whole detail of that, into the AI Profit Boardroom. This community, it comes with all my best SOPs, templates, tutorials, etc. And if you go to the Google Free Deep Research Agent section, I'll include that report example right there, along with details on how to access it, and also some research on like the key stats and everything else. Super useful stuff. By the way, this AI Profit Boardroom community, it comes with all my best SOPs for email and content automation, social media, AI agents, web automation, etc., AI SEO automation, and also all my best SOPs. And if you ever get stuck, you can go inside the community here and just ask inside the community for any questions that you have. And finally, inside the calendar here, you can jump on weekly Q&As with us. So just ask us any questions you have, or your team can as well. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. Price is going up again at the end of the month, so make sure you don't miss out now. And if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors a month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot, feel free to get that. On this link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO domination plan. So you'll get custom tailored plan to generate more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, we'll answer any questions you have, and you'll learn the best link building strategy for your website based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. And next up, we're going to cover some other stuff. So I'm just going to take a cheeky glass of water there. What questions we got here? Let's see what we got on the questions section. So Jay says, boom first. Welcome. Sakara says, what computer do we need for making it work? You don't need any computer. I mean, just like you can even use your laptop. Your mobile, right? So it's all hosted, so it's no issue there. You don't need to worry about that. What else we got? Now I never know if it's you or AI. But that shows how good AI actually is. If AI was terrible, if the stuff I was showing didn't work, then you'd easily be able to tell the difference. Brother, let me get in for free. That is demanding, mate. That is demanding. The only people who get in for free are people who work on my team. To be 100% honest with you, because we use the same courses and materials for training as well, right? So if you want to get in for free, just come and work for us. Do something useful for us, help us grow our business, and we'll help you too. Is there a free version of the AI Profit Boardroom? There is not. Julian Goldie, is it typed to upload a video, but the video is like 14 hours long? I don't think so. That would be crazy. What else we got here? Hello, Julian. How are you today? I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Good to see you here. I am Junaid Ali Shah Gigli. I hope I didn't just butcher the pronunciation of your name, but welcome here. Bro, how can I learn SEO as a full stack web developer? So, best way to learn SEO, if you want to learn SEO from the best, join the SEO Elite Circle. We actually have a free 7-day trial. So if you want to join, just join, man. You can join here. So we have a free trial for the SEO Elite Circle, link in the comments description. And we have 420 members in there. You can ask for help and advice. Also comes with weekly Q&A calls with us. And then all of my best courses for SEO. So if you want to learn SEO, Even if you want to learn like YouTube SEO based on what's working for us, you can get that. We've got a cold email mastery course here, make money with SEO section, approved VAs and freelancers section, plus tons of other cool stuff in there. So yeah, and it's free. Like if you want to just sign up, check it out for 7 days, just make sure you cancel the trial before you finish. But yeah, completely free. So that's the best way to learn. Any other questions before we move on? Be interested to know which AIs are you actually using at the minute. Are you using Grok? Are you using Gemini, Perplexity, ChatGPT? Which ones are you using right now? I'd be interested to know. Manus, anyone using Manus yet? So Google versus Perplexity versus Grok versus ChatGPT deep research agents. Google just released the deep research update for free across the world, right? So you can get free access to that. Super powerful stuff. Let me show you an example of what the report looks like. So you can see an example report. Let's pull this up right here. So here's an example report, right? 5,500 word report on the difference between these different agents. One of the most powerful things about this is like it integrates with Google Drive, so you can export it to Google Docs, and also it's complete free. You can do it in many different languages, and I would say it's made Gemini a whole lot more powerful, right? Also, this is using the latest model of Google, which is Google Gemini Flash Experimental 2.0. Right. So that's what it's using to generate these reports, and that's why they're so good. So we're going to be comparing the outputs versus Grok, ChatGPT, Perplexity, etc. One of the things to note here is that there are different limits on each platform, right? So for example, Gemini, if you're using deep research, is free. Grok is free up to a limit. ChatGPT previously was only available for operator, so for O1 Pro mode users, and Perplexity is completely free as well. And of course, they all use different ways of generating the responses as well, right? So for example, Perplexity, you can actually change your settings here. If you go to your settings, then if you scroll down, you can use different AI models to generate. So for example, like Claude or that sort of thing, if you're on the pro version. Grok is of course using Grok and ChatGPT. So let's compare. I've got a bunch of pre-made examples right here. So we're going to be comparing. Let's pull this up. We'll be comparing an example from Gemini. So this is the report from Gemini. Like you can see, 5,500 word response. And also what you can see here is it's used a ton of different sources. So these are all the sources used within the report. And additionally, this is pulling in like the latest information from what I can see. So for example, this report here was released on March the 13th, and it's pulling in the latest information. Now I've done exactly the same prompts inside ChatGPT. And here's an example, right? See, this is the response we got back from ChatGPT. So we can compare them side by side. Let's check the word count first of all. How long is this word? Now, this is a long, long report. So we'll check the word count on this. And there was a couple of big errors I noticed inside the report from ChatGPT. So I'll come on to that in a second. But yeah, this is what, 19,000 words. ChatGPT created a 19,000 word report. Let me double check the word count of this report from Google. So that came back to us with a 5,000 word report. I also created the same prompt inside Perplexity. using deep research. So if you want to use a deep research inside Perplexity, just go to new thread and then select deep research, like you can see right here. And this is the deep research report back from Perplexity. Now, one thing I noticed from Perplexity is like, it tends to be a lot less thorough than the other platforms. So this is only 1,200 words on the research report. But in a way, I prefer that, you know, like, am I going to spend a day reading through walls of text like this? Probably not, right? Do I need a 19,000 word report comparing all the differences between them? Probably not. And I'll show you why this actually has a big problem inside the report. I'll come on to that in a second. But yeah, I think that Perplexity actually is got a really good balance between being fast and actually getting the outputs that we want. And then finally, we have the report from Grok as well. Now, Grok's reports are a lot nicer formatted, right? So we've got like nice bullet points here, quick overview, get straight to the point. It's not messing around. And then we have like a breakdown of functionality, etc. So this is much easier to read and nicer formatted than any of the other reports, right? So if you compare this report versus Gemini's, which one is easier to read? For sure, it's Grok, right? And then in terms of usability, I'd say Perplexity comes in second on that, but this one is probably the best, right, so far. However, if we go over to ChatGPT, so we use the same prompt in every single one, right, which was research the differences between Google versus Perplexity versus Grok versus ChatGPT deep research agents, right? And the keyword here is deep research agents. Now, if we scroll down and we look at the outputs, this report, number one, it took the longest to generate out of all of them, right? So out of all of these reports, ChatGPT actually took the longest to generate. And number two, if you actually look at the outputs here, and you know, you go through it with a fine tooth comb, you can see here the Google is referenced as having Google search, right? So it's not actually focusing on deep research agents, which it should be. It's just focusing on Google search. And the same, for example, with Perplexity. So she focuses on Perplexity AI search, not deep research agents. So this might have given us like 19,000 words of reporting, but what's the point if it's focusing on the totally wrong model, right? It should be focusing on deep research agents. Now, if you go back to Gemini, for example, and we have a look at the differences here, we'll compare them inside here. So you can see that Gemini was smart enough to figure out that we're talking about Google deep research. And the same for Perplexity, deep research, right? That's the key word here. So ChatGPT's comparison is pretty much completely wrong. It doesn't matter how long it is, how many resources you used. You know, it's pretty much hallucinated because it's focusing on Google searches, not deep research. And so for me personally, out of all these models, I'm going to say that ChatGPT actually comes in last, right? Now, if we go back to Grok, we'll see what we got here. So we've got the examples. And again, it's focusing on Google AI search. I want to make sure that it's actually focused. Yeah, so you can see here, it's actually researching using Google AI search, not using deep research, right? So Grok has kind of failed that test as well, because instead of being smart enough to figure out, okay, this is about the deep research model inside Google and inside Perplexity, instead it's focusing on the general search methods, right? So the research here is pretty much wrong as well. And so for me personally, I'm going to put ChatGPT and Grok 3 deep research models as last, right? They've completely misunderstood the search intent that we're going for. And because of that, the research that it's given us back is totally wrong. Not very good there, all right? Now, we'll keep going and we'll compare the rest of the research models here. So we've got the report back from Perplexity. It's comparing the four models. It understands that we're talking about deep research models. And you can see here, it specifically references Google describes its deep research tool as an agentic feature, right? So it understands that number one, we're talking about deep research, not AI search or Google search in general. And number two, it's sourcing a report from very recently, right? From January 2025. So it's smart enough to figure out the search intent. It's smart enough to figure out, okay, here's what we're looking for, and here's how the report should be formatted. So he's definitely coming in second or first. Now let's have a look at the comparative analysis. So one of the things that you don't get inside this report using the deep research model is you don't get a table breakdown, right? So if we go over to Gemini, it's giving us like a really powerful deep research breakdown of all the different models, right? And we can actually export that to Google Sheets, which is super useful as well. Whereas Perplexity Search, it doesn't do that at all, right? And so if I was to compare the AI agents for deep research versus Perplexity versus Gemini, just having that table makes everything 10 times easier to understand. So I'm just going to format this better right here, and then we can compare them. Let's pull this up. All right. So how much easier does that make it to understand the research, right? You got a nice little report here. It tells you the pricing differences in accessibility, research methodology, etc. You just don't get that from Perplexity. And so comparing each of these, for me, Gemini is winning. And bear in mind as well, Gemini is completely free. Perplexity is completely free. Grok is limited by freemium limits, and ChatGPT is limited as well. Plus, ChatGPT takes a long time. Like, for example, if we go to a new chat here and we'll ask it to do the same thing again. So let's pull up a new example. We'll select deep research. Then we're going to plug this in, hit enter. Number one is going to clarify what you're looking for. And then you can say, yes, go ahead. And then once it comes back to you, you can see how long this task is going to be, right? So that's probably going to take about 20 to 30 minutes to get back to us. Whereas Gemini was a lot faster. I think Gemini generated in about 2 to 3 minutes. So the differences in speed as well, just absolute night and day between these different AI agents. Now, if we pull these up side by side, let's compare the differences here. So it's got a breakdown of like the underlying model. So for deep research, this is using Gemini 2.0 Flash Thinking Experimental. Perplexity is using its AI search engine. Grok Deep Search is using Grok 3. And ChatGPT, you can switch between the models if you want to. Now, this is not 100% perfect because actually when you're using the deep research model on ChatGPT, it says specialized O3 model, but actually you can use any of the ones that you want to use, right? So if we click on new chat over here, we can switch between these, and then we can use deep research on O1, or we can use deep research on GPT-4o. So the report is still not as good as a human, right? It doesn't have the same level of expertise as someone like me. Not trying to do a humble brag there, but you get the point. And then with Google Deep Research as well, the pricing is free. With ChatGPT Deep Research, it's on the $200 per month plan. And these, to be fair, this research is not quite right as well. So on Perplexity, it's actually free. And on Grok Deep Research, is free as well. ChatGPT, I'm not sure if they've extended it for free. But yeah, so there's definitely a lot of mistakes in all these reports. It's, you know, and however you generate the deep research, you're going to want to double check it before you send this, especially if you're doing it for like an academic situation, or, you know, you've got a report to create for, you know, people that you're working with. You definitely want to check this stuff before you send it off. Otherwise, you're going to give people like the wrong information, and it's going to backfire. It's going to do more harm than good, right? But yeah, I would definitely say, like, out of all of them, Gemini is winning there, followed by Perplexity. These two are free. ChatGPT is on a freemium plan, and it takes a lot longer to generate. So you can see here, it's still generating the reports here. And then Grok as well is pretty much wrong. So yeah, the other biggest problem with these agents on ChatGPT and ChatGPT and Grok, is that they don't understand you're talking about deep research, right? So it's not really understand the query. I kind of inserted that because I wanted to see how recent it could go back with the data. I also want to see the sources this research is used. So if we go back to the output here, let's see how recent some of these sources are. So we'll open up some of these, see what we got. So yeah, it's referencing like the main model of Google Gemini. Is it referencing the latest blogs from them? Yeah, so it's referencing the latest blogs from like 2 or 3 days ago, which is awesome as well. So yeah, I think if you're going to do deep research, just go with Gemini. That's the best out of all of them. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you watching. If you want to get access to all the notes and the comparisons from today, feel free to get that inside the S&P section of the AI Profit Boardroom. I've got a section on Google free deep research agents here. I've also got a 3-hour course on how to build anything with Manus. So this is a 3-hour course with all my best S&Ps. If you can't get access to Manus, then you probably want to check out the alternatives that I've set up with S&Ps right here. And this also comes with all my best workflows, tips, AI agents, etc. And you also get all my best training on AI automation. Like you can see, if you want to scale your business, make money, and save hundreds of hours, this is one of the best communities you can join. And prices are going up at the end of the month. Additionally, you can jump on weekly Q&As with us. So you can jump on the weekly Q&A calls with us here. And if you have any questions, you can post inside the community, ask our community. And we have 465 people ready to help you, like you can see right here. So for example, Chris, he posted a couple of days ago. He's already got the answers. 3 people have helped him out there. And so if you're looking for help, like this is one of the best places to ask, and you can just get answers whenever you need them. So feel free to get that link in the comments description to the AI Profit Boardroom. Additionally, if you want to get a free SEO strategy session, feel free to get that link in the comments description. And with this free SEO strategy session, we'll show you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors per month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a free SEO domination plan. So you'll get a custom tailored link building plan so you can generate more lead sales and profits from your website. You'll discover the secrets of SEO link building, or answer any questions you have. You'll learn the best link building strategy for your website, plus how to outrank your competitors and 10x SEO traffic based on what's working for us and our happy clients, like you can see right here. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the next one. So let's see what questions we got here. Bro, do you use Sesame AI? I actually only use 11 Labs, and we've actually automated, for example, like video avatars using 11 Labs. And additionally, we've also used, what is it now? Yeah, so we've actually set up an AI agent on the website that can answer people's inbound queries, right? So let me show you an example of what that means and how it works, etc. So if we go on to juliangoldie.com, so this is our agency website. So this is a live website, like we're actually using this stuff. You can see here that we have this section in the bottom that says, need help, speak to an agent, right? And so if you want a voice agent that can handle like inbound queries and that sort of thing, this is super powerful. It actually uses my voice. It's a pro version of my voice on 11 Labs. And yeah, I think that's way more powerful than having a chat on your website as well. And people can just get help in real time. It's trained on all my data, etc. I've heard good things about Sesame AI. Like I've heard really good things. I just don't know if it's got the same sort of power as 11 Labs. In fact, we can check it out now. Let's have a look. Sesame AI voice. Heard a lot of people talking about it recently. So let's open it up. So it looks pretty cool. But how do you actually get access to it? So we can go to the demo. We can start a conversation there. But how do you actually start using it? It doesn't seem like you can just... Is it one of those where like it's in beta and you can't access it now? Yeah, it seems like it's only got a demo on the website from what I can see. So, I mean, if it's not practical yet, it seems like it could be pretty cool. But if it's not practical, then what's the point, right? Let's have a look here. Can we use it? Doesn't seem to be like any sign up button or anything like that. We've got a bunch of samples, but you know, if you compare this to 11 Labs, 11 Labs. Let's start Maya. Hey. Yeah, so I just wanted to have a chat. Can I use Sesame with my own voice?
Chatting is definitely what we do best. And as for using your own voice, that's in the works. The team here is working on some really cool stuff, but it's not quite ready for prime time yet. They're pretty secretive about it, those coders.
All right, so I mean, the problem with Sesame is like if you can't use it on your website yet, it's absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong, like the voice, it sounds better than 11 Labs for sure. But if I can't use it for my business, what's the point, right? Like It feels like a human. It should be amazing once it's set up. But right now, if you compare it to 11 Labs, 11 Labs is much better, right? You can see like people are actually using this all the time as well. So, you know, we had like 10 different phone calls come in yesterday. We can look back on the conversation. So I'm not going to open it up, but you get the point. And then we've actually got the Julian Goldie inbound phone agent just handling calls like right now, right? And it's ready to go. It's also linked to a webhook on NA10, which is pretty cool. And then we've trained it on all our custom data. So Sesame sounds really promising. It's not that practical, right? Whereas, for example, with 11 Labs, I can use that today. It's already working. It's trained, custom made on my voice, and it does the job. It does the job. I wouldn't say the agent is perfect though, but it does the job. Yeah. So, and then also it's really easy to set these up. So if you go inside the AI Profit Boardroom and you check out the training on how to set these voice agents up, it takes like, I would say 10 to 15 minutes. Pretty impressive stuff. So thanks so much for watching. Appreciate it as always. And I will see you on the next one. Make sure you join the AI Profit Boardroom. Bye bye.